Known for some of the best hiking and most scenic drives in the United States, in this video I'm going to cover some of the best things to do in Glacier National Park. I've had the opportunity to spend nearly 10 full days exploring the park over the span of 2 different visits. During these trips, I hiked over 50 miles, canoed on Swiftcurrent Lake, drove the length of going to the Sun Road, had multiple close encounters with bears, and much, much more. If you're planning a trip to Glacier National Park, let this video serve as your guide to planning the ultimate itinerary. I've spent countless hours researching, planning, and experiencing the park firsthand, and this is a curated list of my favorite activities that I've experienced along the way. And first up is the Trail of the Cedars Nature Trail. Trail of the Cedars in Glacier National Park is a nature walk with centuries-old, giant red cedars and hemlocks lining the path. The 1-mile loop is wheelchair accessible with a boardwalk, making it perfect for small children or visitors not planning to hike much. The trail is a staple in the park and connects to the popular Avalanche Lake Trail, which means I'd recommend you complete this hike while doing the longer Avalanche Lake hike since they're connected to each other. As a pro tip, even if you plan to skip Avalanche Lake, visitors can enjoy direct access to the rushing waters of Avalanche Creek a quarter mile up the hill where the trail splits off, which leads into our next can't miss stop, Avalanche Lake. This stunning lake is surrounded by towering mountains and lush forests, making it a popular destination for hikers and nature lovers. The hike to Avalanche Lake is a moderate 5 miles round trip that will lead you through some of the park's most incredible forested area. The hike to Avalanche Lake begins at the Trail of the Cedars, and from there, hikers will follow the Avalanche Lake Trail, which climbs gradually through the forest along Avalanche Creek. The trail is well maintained and easy to follow, with plenty of opportunities to stop and take in scenery along the way. Once you reach Avalanche Lake, you'll be rewarded with stunning views of the lake and surrounding mountains. The lake is a popular spot for swimming and picnics, as it boasts a large beach area for visitors to spread out and relax. Even if you don't plan to go for a swim, you should definitely kick your hiking boots off and refresh your feet in the icy water. Next up, be sure to drive the length of going to the Sun Road during your visit. Going to the Sun Road is a 50-mile scenic mountain road that serves as the main artery of Glacier National Park, providing access to many of the park's popular areas. The road crosses the Continental Divide and is considered a sub-area of the park that requires its own timed entry reservation. If you're unfamiliar with how the National Park timed entry system works, I've published a full-length guide dedicated to the subject on my blog. It covers how the system works, along with tips and tricks to utilize if you ever find yourself without a reservation. I'll include a link of that in the video description below, so be sure to check it out when you're finished watching this video. The road is usually open from late June to September, but weather conditions vary each year. It's important to time your visit carefully to enjoy the activities you want to see. During my first visit to the park, the road didn't open until mid-July, which made areas like Logan's Pass inaccessible until the latter part of our trip. We almost missed out completely, which would have really sucked. Another worthwhile activity during your trip is to take in views of Lake McDonald. Lake McDonald is the largest lake in Glacier National Park. It's approximately 10 miles long and over 400 feet deep. It's located near the West Glacier entrance in Apgar Village area. Lake McDonald is known for its stunning beauty and crystal clear waters, which offer excellent opportunities for canoeing and swimming. Next on our list, if you're looking for a real challenge during your stay, consider hiking to the Mount Brown Fire Lookout Tower. This is an experience that is not suitable for everyone. If the hiking distance of 10 miles round trip wasn't enough, this hike features over 4,200 feet of elevation gain. The trek to Mount Brown Lookout starts harmlessly enough as guests begin along the trail towards Sperry Chalet through a wooded area of the park near Lake McDonald Lodge. As you hike, keep an eye out for the Mount Brown Lookout Spur, which veers off from the main trail. This is where the trail takes a turn for the worse and the uphill climb begins. If you can endure nearly a full mile of elevation gain and over 30 switchbacks, you'll be rewarded with some of the best views of Lake McDonald in the entire park from atop the fire lookout structure. It won't be easy, but this is a great challenge hike and less busy than the others in the park due to its difficulty. If you're really lucky, you'll even encounter a pack of mountain goats near the top like we did. Just don't forget your trekking poles for the journey back down. Your knees will thank you. The next stop on today's video is the hike to Hidden Lake. The Hidden Lake Overlook Trail is an easy hike with no difficult or dangerous sections. The 2.7-mile round-trip hike to the Overlook is one of the most visited areas in Glacier National Park, and for good reason. Once you reach the Overlook, you can enjoy views of Hidden Lake and Bear Hat Mountain, which prominently towers above it. During my first trip to Glacier, we We were able to see bighorn sheep and marmots near the trailhead, a wolf, and even heard about bear activity nearby earlier that morning. Hidden Lake and the surrounding Logan's Pass area are known as one of the best spots to see wildlife in Glacier National Park, so make sure it's on your list to visit. Late July or August is the best time to visit Hidden Lake since snowfields can still exist in this area well into summer, while during September you may encounter hazy conditions due to wildfires. Our next activity will put your fear of heights to the ultimate test by hiking the Highline Trail. The Highline Trail offers stunning views as you hike along the Continental Divide and is a great way to experience the beauty and remoteness of the park firsthand. There are multiple variations to this hike, but the route we took involves beginning at Logan's Pass, hiking up the Grinnell Overlook, past the Granite Park Chalet, and finishing down at the loop. This option is about 14 miles in length and has about 2,600 feet of elevation gain and will take most visitors 7 to 8 hours to complete, including stops along the way. The Highline Trail is one of the most rigorous day hikes in the park due to the total length, elevation gain, sun exposure, and because you'll hike along sheer drops for much of the day. But if you can stomach the heights and endure the difficulty, it's one of the most unforgettable experiences you can have during your trip to Glacier National Park. Now is probably a good time to mention, always hike with bear spray that is easily accessible during your adventures in Glacier National Park. During the last 2 miles of this hike, we encountered an adolescent brown bear sitting directly on the hiking trail. Luckily, we were able to scare it off by making some noise, but at that point, I decided to put my camera away and hike with my bear spray in hand for the remainder of the hike just in case. If you're flying into the area from out of state, you can rent bear spray at the kiosk near the baggage claim at the airport. Next up on this video is an opportunity to swim with icebergs at the appropriately named Iceberg Lake. The trail is a 9.3 mile round trip hike that leads to a stunning alpine lake that sits in the shadow of Iceberg Peak in Mount Wilbur. The trailhead is located in Many Glacier near the Swiftcurrent motor inn parking lot. The hike takes about 6 hours to complete. The trail is rated as moderate with a gradual incline and well-maintained path, making it accessible to hikers of all skill levels if the 9 miles don't deter you. The highlight of the Iceberg Lake Trail is, of course, Iceberg Lake itself. The crystal clear lake can often be seen with large icebergs floating in the water. For the best chance to see icebergs floating in the wild, you'll want to visit during midsummer. This allows for the lake to partially thaw, but not completely melt like it can by late summer. For reference, the conditions in this video were captured during late July. There's no better way to cap off your hike to Iceberg Lake than by taking a dip in the icy cold water, so don't forget to pack a swimsuit. Swimming in the freezing water and climbing on a chunk of ice floating in the lake will go down as one of my favorite memories from visiting Glacier National Park. And if you're lucky, you might even spot some wildlife along the way. During our hike out to the lake, we spotted a bull moose cooling off, resting in a patch of snow. It was such a cool experience, but just remember to never approach wildlife see out on the trail because it can be dangerous and unpredictable. The next must-do activity during your trip to Glacier National Park is going for a swim under Angel Wing Mountain at Grinnell Lake. Visitors looking for a less difficult hike in the Many Glacier area of the park should consider the hike to Grinnell Lake. This trail is 7 miles in length but has a negligible amount of elevation gain, making it suitable for most visitors. If you're still looking for something a little bit shorter, there are ways to cut the hiking distance down by pairing it with a boat tour from Many Glacier Hotel. If you want to learn more about that option, check out my Grinnell Lake hiking guide on my blog. There will be a link to that in the video description below. More specifically known as Lower Grinnell Lake, this body of water is partially created by ice melt from the Grinnell Glacier, which is located directly above the lake. To be clear, you can't see Grinnell Glacier from Lower Grinnell Lake, and you'll need to attempt a separate and more rigorous hike to reach the glacier itself. Once you reach the lake, you'll have the opportunity to swim, eat, picnic on the beach, and take in views of one of the most prominent mountains in Glacier National Park, Angel Wing, which towers above the lake. The hike to Grinnell Glacier itself is unfortunately absent from this video. We had planned to attempt it during my last trip to the park, but even by late July, the trail was still closed due to snow and ice. For the best chance to hike the Grinnell Glacier, you may want to visit the park in August. Of course, this can vary each year depending on weather conditions. Next up, be sure to spend an afternoon at Many Glacier Hotel, or better yet, stay at the hotel for a couple of nights. Many Glacier Hotel is a historic hotel located in the Many Glacier area of Glacier National Park. It is situated on the shores of Swiftcurrent Lake and offers stunning views of the surrounding landscape, with Grinnell Point dominating the horizon. The hotel was built in 1915 and offers the largest and most luxurious accommodations inside of Glacier National Park. During my second trip to Glacier, we stayed at this historic hotel and it did not disappoint. point. Our balcony offered incredible views of Swiftcurrent Lake, which was just steps away. The hotel is designed to have a Swiss mountain chalet feel, and it definitely passes the vibe check. The hotel boasts a restaurant, gift shop, and canoe rentals, making it worthwhile as a stop even for guests who aren't physically staying at the hotel. If you're interested in staying at Many Glacier Hotel during your trip, which I highly recommend, be prepared to reserve your room a full year in advance. Since peak season in Glacier National Park is so short, rooms here tend to sell out very quickly. The next activity worth doing during your visit is taking a boat tour. The Glacier Park Boat Company offers guided tours on Lake McDonald, St. Mary, Two Medicine, and in Many Glacier. Enjoying views of the surrounding mountains from the water is an excellent way to spend an afternoon in the park. The best way to book one of these tours is directly through the Glacier Park Boat Company's website. I'll be sure to include a link to that in the video description below so you can check it out after you're done here. If you'd like to do this activity during your visit, I highly recommend booking far in advance. Most tours sell out well before their departure dates, so don't expect to grab a last-minute seat or ride standby. If you want a guided tour but prefer to stay on dry ground, be sure to check out the iconic Red Bus tours where you can enjoy a scenic drive through Glacier National Park while learning about the park's history from knowledgeable guides along the way. Guests can choose from options departing from the western or eastern sides of the park. Just be mindful that these bus tours also sell out regularly, so the further out you can reserve a seat, the better. Next up is another activity on the water, which is to rent a canoe on Swiftcurrent Lake. Renting a canoe on Swiftcurrent Lake will surely go down as one of our favorite activities during our visit to Glacier. You can rent a canoe from nearby Many Glacier Hotel even if you aren't staying at the hotel. When we visited, rentals were on a first come, first served basis, but we didn't have any issues securing a rental around early afternoon on a beautiful July day. We packed a lunch, a few beers, and then we navigated our way across Swiftcurrent Lake. From there, you can beach your canoe on the shores of Grinnell Point and enjoy the most epic picnic you'll ever experience. Rest your feet in the cold waters of Swiftcurrent Lake, which is lined with colorful rocks as you enjoy out-of-this-world scenery. Next up is another hike originating from the Many Glacier area of the park, which is the hike to Red Rock Falls. The Red Rock Falls Trail is a popular and easily accessible waterfall hike in Glacier National Park. The 3.6-mile round-trip hike to the falls is well maintained and flat, with only 200 feet of elevation gain. This hike only takes about 90 minutes to complete, but visitors should budget additional time to enjoy the falls, continue on to Bullhead Lake, or try their luck at spotting wild moose during a detour to Fisher Cap Lake. Don't forget to pack a swimsuit as you'll encounter Red Rock Lake shortly before reaching the falls, which is a great swimming option. Just be mindful that the hike was very buggy when we visited in the late afternoon, so be sure to pack plenty of bug spray. The waterfall provides a unique experience compared to other hikes in the park, which typically involve hiking to a lake or up a mountain. Since this is a shorter hike and less crowded, it makes for a great late afternoon activity. The next thing you'll want to do during your trip is to enjoy some world-class stargazing. It might come as an afterthought, but not a surprise that Glacier National Park has some of the best stargazing in the United States due to its extremely remote location in dark skies. Stargazing in Glacier National Park allows guests to view the Milky Way stripe, satellites, and in some cases the Aurora Borealis. If you're staying at accommodations in the park, then you're in luck since you won't need to travel very far from your lodging to reach the darkest areas of the park. However, visitors staying in Whitefish will need to be more strategic about their stargazing since you could easily spend 2 hours driving round trip to get into the heart of Glacier National Park and back out. Chances are if you're visiting Glacier National Park, you'll be doing quite a bit of hiking. And if you're doing some hiking, you'll want to have the right gear handy in order to have the best experience possible. For your convenience, I put together an extremely thorough day hike checklist to make sure you don't miss anything. That guide is geared towards lengthier day hikes such as the Highline Trail or trek to Mount Brown Lookout. So if you're doing something more casual like Red Rock Falls or Trail of the Cedars, you probably won't need everything on that list, but rest assured you won't overlook a thing. There's a link to that checklist in the video description below. Hopefully you find this guide covering the best things to do in Glacier National Park helpful during your trip planning process. Feel free to reach out on social media or drop a comment below if you have any specific questions that went unanswered in this video. Don't forget to check out some of my other Glacier National Park guides that are available on my blog. I've included links to those in the description as well for your convenience. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss out on any future travel updates that I publish to this channel. I'm Wes Murgard with WorkRemotely, LiveRemotely.com, and thanks for watching.